and welcome to Talk a Good Game, and it's a preview of West Ham United against Southampton, who play on the 28th, Monday the 28th, with a 5:30 kickoff. It's not on TV, but it's a strange kickoff time anyway. I'm Geo from hammerchat.com, and I'm not going to introduce Charlie, because you all know who Charlie from hammerchat.com is, but I'm going to introduce my next person. Well, I'll let him introduce himself, but it's someone you may recognise. You don't recognise his face, you might recognise his articles. New person, introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm James. I run westhamworld.co.uk. Run it for a few years now. If you don't follow us, make sure you do on Twitter. Make sure you check us out.
I don't know where they've been if they don't follow you, but we certainly do anyway. But thank you very much for popping on, James. If you're new to the channel, do hit the subscribe button, and if you're not new, welcome back, and I appreciate you popping on. Anyway, let's crack on. Before we talk about Southampton or West Ham, I'm going to talk about one West Ham player in particular, James Collins. Charlie signed a 2-year deal, or a 1.5-year deal, whatever way you want to look at it, just the other day. What's your thoughts on James Collins signing an extension? The right move, wrong move? What's your thoughts?
He's good enough for it. We've always, for the last couple of seasons, we've always had this problem where one or two of our centre backs get injured, and then we're just totally screwed because we have no more defenders left. And so coming into this season, we finally had 4 centre backs for the first time, or 4 senior centre backs for the first time in a long, long time, and it was touch and go for a while, but he's clearly proved that he's good enough, because over the last couple of weeks he's been immense, to be honest. I was worried about Stoke because I thought their pace would their pace would trouble him, but he dealt with it fine, and basically he's earned it, and I think he's worth it.
James, it'd be good to get your view on this one, because we've never spoken to you on this show, so unless they read West Ham online, they won't know your personal views on this. But what's your personal views on James Collins getting a new deal?
I think it's brilliant. In the summer he was almost going to be on his way out, but he chose to stay, fight for his place. I mean, when O'Connor arrived, I don't know about anyone else, but I feared for Collins' future at the club. But he's decided to stay with us, which shows a great deal of loyalty, and then he's found himself arguably our best centre-back this season. And even when Reed's back, it'd be hard place to drop him. So I think it's fantastic. And he's probably, given his age, he'll probably end up sort of finishing his career at the club. Well, I'd like to think he would do anyway. So,
right, I'm going to pick on you two here. Charlie, you mentioned senior players. Do you not think this move would then maybe stop Oxford and eventually Reece Burke getting into the first 11?
Yeah, to an extent. I mean, Oxford, at least for the time being, seems to be seen as a defensive midfielder. Whether that is just purely because we have so many centre backs at the moment, or because his passing range, they feel like that's going to be his position going forward. We'll have to see going forward. I mean, he's only 17 now, so Reece Burke, he's gone out on loan. He's doing well. It will hinder them somewhat, but if James Collins isn't stupid. He's not going to sign a new 1.5-year deal, whatever you want to call it, and think, oh, I'm going to be first choice for the entire time I'm here. He knows where he is. He knows what stage he's at in his career. And if you believe the likes of Matthew Everton, he loves West Ham. So he's probably going to be happy I think he'll be happy next year and the year after to sort of step down a little bit from first team duties more and more as time goes on, and allow the likes of Burke and Oxford into those positions. Will it hinder them in the short term? Yes, but maybe not in the long term, which is the important thing.
Well, we'll talk about the 4 centre-back in a minute, because I've got a solution for that, but we'll talk about that in the later show when we talk about West Ham side to face Southampton because of the injuries we might have. James, do you not think it's a step into the unknown? I mean, my argument is, as you can tell, I'm not all for this deal, and I'll explain my stance in a minute, but 2 years is a long time, especially for someone who, when his contract's up, he's going to be a couple of months away from turning 35. Do you know, he's not exactly the quickest person in the world already. Do you not worry his body's just going to decline? You look at John Terry last year. He was my player of the year in the Premier League, John Terry. I thought he was a rock. This year, it looks like he's gone. It looks like over the summer, he's just gone like that. And you remember Sol Campbell, he was the same. He was world class, and then he just suddenly just disintegrated. I don't know if it's because you go through 3 months without that intensity in training and games that your body just catches up with rapidly. Is that not a worry, James? Do you not think we've taken a bit of a gamble handing someone, although it's only 2 years, it's quite long to have someone on the books? Just look at Joey O'Brien. We're just waiting for his contract to expire, really, aren't we?
I mean, I don't think we'll ever get to that stage with Collins. I think even to the tail end of that extra 2 years, if we're desperate at the back for someone to step in for 1 or 2 games, I still think he'd be able to do a decent enough job. I mean, some people might call it a gamble, but you need strength and depth at the back. I know you say you've got the likes of Oxford and Burke, but are they going to be ready to step in and perform at the rate that Collins is at the moment? I don't think so, not yet anyway. And the next 2 years can be really important for a little bit of you need someone that knows the club going into that new stadium. And not even that, not even on the pitch, but off the pitch, having someone like Collins and his experience, even around the youngsters, moving into that new era, I think it's going to be priceless. Yeah,
well, I'm going to put my view across. I think we should wait until the summer because I think it's a bit of a gamble. And I do think it's going to hinder the youngsters, but also I think I've got a solution for the fourth choice centre back, and I'll come on to that in the future. But also, you've got to remember that James Tompkins is one of them. Although he's playing right back, he shouldn't be playing right back next season once the club get their transfers in order. He does give 100% in that. And Charlie, I get what you're saying about he's coped the last couple of games, but I think that's because Villa's style suits Colin's strengths. And I know you said he coped against Stoke, but twice Doof got away from him when it was one-on-one, and Doof was only on the pitch for 20 minutes. So 20 minutes and he got exposed twice. I think he's just had some shocking games this season that people forgot about. It. Leicester away in the Cup, he was out of his depth. You know, they tore him apart in that game. I think Leicester targeted James Collins and they ripped into him. I think Watford away as well. I know other people were poor as well, but I think again he struggled against Deeney and Igaho, and I know they're causing every centre back trouble. But they knew Collins' weakness and they caused it. And I just think maybe against Swansea we sat back a lot because we knew we had that weakness in the team, Collins' pace. So, well, we can't go too far up the pitch, otherwise we're going to leave room, get exposed. But I am pleased for him because he does give 100%. He loves the club, of course he does. But I would have waited till the summer personally. But let's move on. Let's talk Southampton. Charlie, they're sitting 12th. They're 5 points off us. They are winning. Right now it's half-time in the Arsenal game and they are winning 1-0. Charlie, what's your thoughts on Southampton? Poor season for them so far.
Is it a poor season for them, or was last season a really good season for them? Like, which way around is it? No, I don't think anyone quite knows. We all, like, as West Ham fans, we all know because we were talking about it at the beginning of the season, the Europa League always cuts into your fitness and cuts into your ability to continue the same pace you had in the league the season before. And I think what we're seeing with Southampton is maybe a little bit of a drop-off in form to where they should be, but I think also they're being just hard done by the Europa League. I think that affected them quite early, and confidence is something that can affect you over half the season, maybe longer. They're having a poor time of it, but as we saw with Villa, you can never count these things out 100%.
James, what's your thoughts on the Southampton team that's going to be visiting us on Monday night?
I think they're a good side. You can't write them off. Koeman came out earlier this week and publicly had a pop at his players, and so far it seems to have worked. So, and they've always been a good team. I think last year perhaps they did overachieve a little bit, but then on the other side, you think, well, actually they did put some great performances in, and some of the players that they've got on their books, you know, a lot of them would walk into our team as well. So, I think on paper, I think we're an even match for them. With our injuries, you look at it and go, well, if Laney can get fit in time, then we might have a bit more creativity. But it's going to be a tight game.
Yeah, well, James, their strength, in my opinion, is down their wings. They've got pace with Mane. They've got creativity with Tadic down the sides. Their fullbacks get forward. It looks like their right back scored that worldie tonight against Arsenal. That, in my opinion, is our weakness. We play very narrow. Villa had Alan Hutton, I think, had about 20 crosses today. Luckily, it just didn't quite come off for him. Does that worry you that their strength is our weakness, if you like?
Yeah, well, without a doubt. And Koeman's a good enough manager to be able to pinpoint that, and that they will target that. And we haven't been great at home all season, so they'll go into that with a lot of confidence, and they will try and expose that. Bilic has just got to try and find a way of cancelling that out.
Charlie, is there any way you would like to see us play against Southampton? How are we going to? I think we need to win a wee bit. It's not so much the 3 points. I don't think it's important we put points on the board. I think it's just about lifting the crowd a bit, just getting a result so that the crowd can just cheer up, because nobody's criticising the points we're picking up. I think it's just the performances that's going with it, the fact that we've been a little bit withdrawn. I know we're missing our creative players, but still, was it 6 points from 24 now? It's not ideal. Charlie, how are we going to win on Monday night?
I would like to see us start again with the 4-4-2 diamond. I think looking at it today, what I think I see is something that could actually work. I think Obiang, especially in the second half, once he grew into the game, it's a worry that he had to grow into the game, but once he grew into the game, you started to see his range of passing. I think with the likes of Song and Kiyate again, although I don't think he was as good as maybe some other people think, he did start to show that form he had last season of those sort of incisive, sort of unstoppable Yaya Toure style runs. I think if we stick with the 4-4-2 diamond with Zarate at the top of that, I think going forward is at least an option. And I think with the pace of Enna and Antonio, it could really work. But it's something they've clearly got to work on, because today the midfield and the strikers, there just wasn't enough linking up, and it was just a bit aimless at times. But if that's worked on, I think it can work.
Well, it could be 2 out of 3 in, because although we could have Jalovic, Carroll and Lanzini back for the game, there's doubts with Tompkins and Creswell. Creswell went off with a slight tightness in his muscles, so he's an iffy one. We'll find out tomorrow according to Bilic. And Tompkins' eye is practically closed because of the head knock he got against Hutton. James, what would you do at the back four? Let's just say they were out, just for the debate of it. Say both of them didn't make it. What would you do across the back four?
It's a difficult one. Obviously, Jenko would go in for Tompkins, and that's just a straight swap. But it's left back where we're pretty weak. I mean, I don't know if anyone's seen anything of Hendry. Would you give him a go? Would you throw him in at the deep end? I don't know. Perhaps it might be a good time to do that. Give him a go.
I know Henry. I am from Scotland. I know Henry. I've been waiting for Henry. I don't actually think he's good enough for West Ham. As pleased I was to see him make the move, there was another left back in Scotland, Shinnie, who was also free, who I think is better than him. So I was a bit confused why we took Henry. I don't think Shinnie's good enough for West Ham either. But it was a bit weird. I wouldn't play him against Southampton myself, because if they put Tadic or Mane on him, I think he would struggle a lot, and I think he'd be like a fish out of water. But if it was against maybe a Villa or a Swansea, I think that might have been an opportunity. James, do you think he's going to put Ogbonna there? We've seen today he took Ogbonna onto the left back, and then he pulled Kayate back into the centre back position by the looks of it. And you think he could do that and take Song into midfield, just rotate it that way, if you like?
Well, I think if you're going to keep an element of experience in the side and keep it solid as much as you possibly can in a makeshift defence, then that is the logical thing to do. And Ogbonna can play there, so I think if both of them are going to be out, then that would probably be what he did. But perhaps it is time to give Henry a shout, even if it's just off the bench. Yeah,
I would like to see Henry play, or Oxford if he did put Ogbonna there. I'd rather see Oxford come into centre back and leave Kayate where he is, but Kayate was unreal last season in that position. Charlie, what would you do across the back four?
I think I would do maybe what you're going to suggest and play a 3-5-2. And at the end of the game, I don't actually think Ogbonna was playing left back. He seemed to be playing. He was definitely playing further left than he was, but I think he actually changed to a 3-5-2 because Mikel Antonio was playing super deep towards the end of that game, and it wasn't just wingers sitting deep. Him and Jenkinson were practically level, and so I think that might be what he's going to go ahead and do. I think he's probably going to change to a 3-5-2 and put Antonio as the sort of left wing back, and then have Ogbonna, Kiyate, Collins, Jenkinson, and I would probably. I really want to see this. I really want to see to stick to this diamond formation, and I would probably just give Stephen Hendry a go just to see if he can do it. But I suspect that's what Bilic will do.
Yeah, well, all I really want to see is us to try and win the game and actually attack Southampton. But also have 11 players out there who will give 100%, because it doesn't feel like those last couple of games that everybody on the pitch has been giving 100%. before we get your score predictions, Michael Oliver is the referee for Monday night. Fantastic news. Best referee in the league, I think. We might have got a penalty today had he been in charge. But time for your score predictions. Come on then, James. You're representing your website. Don't let them down. What's your score prediction for Monday night?
I'm gonna go 2-1 West Ham.
He's confident. There should be goals. The last 2 games has finished 3-1. Southampton won the last one 3-1. We won the one previous 3-1. The one before that we won 4-1. So there's been 13 goals in the last 3 meetings at Upton Park. Charlie, what's your score prediction?
1-1. 1-1.
I'm going for a mix between you. I'm going 2-2. I think the points will be shared, but I think we'll see goals. I think hopefully we will see Carroll back. Hopefully we'll see Lanzini back, and hopefully we'll just see the floodgates up Upton Park open under the floodlights. Not many of them left, but James, thank you very much for your time. Thank you for popping on.
Pleasure. Thanks very much for having me.
Don't be daft. Charlie, thank you as always.
You're welcome anytime.
I've been Geo from, I almost said I was Charlie. I'm not that hater. I've been Geo from hammerschat.com. Come on to hammerschat.com. Come on to West Ham World. Come on to westhamway.co.uk and join in with your fans and have a look at our articles. But until next time, thank you very much. Come on, you Irons.